Professor Indra, Abeysekera. Let's look at conducting research using crowd theory research method. For this purpose, I have taken an article that was published in Health, Education and Behavior, developing long-term physical activity, a grounded theory study. Purpose of this study was twofold. First, to develop a theoretical explanation of physical activity adoption and maintenance by African American women. Two is to develop a framework of the process by which physical activity is adopted and maintained among African American women. In this article, they show that physical activity and health has a relationship, and this is a particular concern. Physical activity is a particular concern for African American women because of their sedentary. The grounded theory research method was used for this study for two reasons. One was the lack of knowledge about the specific factors and factor relationship that comprise the process of physical activity of the behavior. The second is developing a theoretical framework required an iterative process of data collection to come up with a theoretical explanation on the human behavior, which is grounded in the data of those exhibiting that behavior. In this instance, they are the African American women. The sampling plan for this study was purposive to ensure that women who took part in the study had adequate experience of the phenomenon to provide a rich description. With that, it had inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria. The inclusion criteria was the participants had to be females between ages of 25 and 45 years, and they have completed at least some college or technical school beyond high school, and they have a commitment to physical activity. Exclusion criteria was even if the participants were included, if they had difficulty walking or moving around and had a recent diagnosis of an eating disorder or diagnosis with a terminal illness, or had participated in varsity athletics in college or on a professional athletic team, they were excluded because some were not fit enough to take part in the study, and then some would bring extreme evidence because they had been athletes in the past and has physically active behavior. Data collection was through in-depth interviews, face-to-face in-depth interviews. The data collection was conducted through unstructured questionnaire, but the questions were guided by the research question. The purpose of the unstructured questionnaire was so that the participants could point out some of the issues relating to the physical behavior, physical activity. And at the second stage, data collected was further refined, and the questions were not eliciting the intended information and to reflect the categories and concepts that required further development. After completing data analysis, the study conducted two focus groups with the study participants to disseminate the preliminary findings. Based on their feedback, the framework that was to be developed was further refined. The sample size in grounded theory research, driven by the theoretical saturation, and the baseline sample in this study was 15 women, and thereafter the study screened 30 women and found 17 eligible, and they were interviewed. And once they have interviewed and the data had been analyzed to attain theoretical saturation, the study conducted 15 additional interviews to obtain rich experiences of the women in great detail and depth. For the analysis, codes were created for each new idea and themes that were found to be conceptually similar in nature or related in meanings, and they were grouped together to form concepts. The concepts that were developed through constant comparisons and most relevant concepts were then integrated to form a theoretical framework. This theoretical framework was the final product of the study. Based on the findings, the framework was developed, and in this framework, there were three phases: the initiation phase, transition phase, and integration phase. At the initiation phase, it was characterized by the early decision making and initiation of women's behavior for physical activity. The transition phase is where women entered the second stage, where they became aware that a modification of their regimen was needed. And the integration phase is women enter the benefits, motivation, and execution cycle, which was a virtuous cycle.